Hello, everybody. Monsignor Ritchie once again, coming from America's Parish Church, St. Patrick's Cathedral here in New York City. Every Tuesday, we do a series of questions and answers. I only got two requests this week for questions, so I'll answer them pretty easily. But I urge anybody who has questions about St. Patrick's or about what we're going through in our country, I'd be pleased to give you the answer that comes from my personal experience as a priest here in New York. The first question was, what exactly is a rector? Now, for Catholics, the term rector is not heard very often. Among Protestants, especially Episcopalians, rectors are often, the term is used for the pastor of a parish. But here, and in Catholic usage, a rector is a person who is taking the place of someone else. In this case, here at St. Patrick's, the official pastor of the Cathedral parish is His Eminence the Cardinal, or the Archbishop of New York. Now, obviously, knowing not only Cardinal Dolan, but all of the other cardinals before, we know that the work of a cardinal is very, very extensive, it's very time-consuming, and it's very important for the work of the church. So being a pastor of a parish also at the same time would be very difficult for anyone who's the Archbishop of New York. So from the earliest days, when the cathedral was established, a rector would be the true pastor, the acting pastor of the parish church. Believe it or not, we've only had, I'm number 7, we've only had 7 rectors in the history of St. Patrick's, beginning with 1879 up till now. Now, that's a little bit misleading because 2 of the rectors were very long-standing rectors. Monsignor Lavelle was the 2nd rector, and he ran the parish for, he was here for 60 years, and he was the rector for 52. And he was succeeded by Bishop Flannelly, and he was the rector for 30 years. So out of the 140 some odd years, 2 of them were made up, two rectors made up the majority of the time. So the rector is the one who takes the place of the pastor and who acts as the pastor himself. Very often, Cardinal Dolan will introduce me as the pastor here, and technically speaking, that's not true. He's the pastor, but he asked me to keep continuing to guide the parish, and I'm doing my best. This is my 15th year. I began in 2006, and hopefully I'll be here for a few more years as the rector, who is the pastor of the parish, in fact, although not in title. The second question was about the cardinals' hats. Now, if you're old-time New Yorkers, or if you lived here many years ago, you would remember, or you might remember, that the cardinals' hats were above the sanctuary, right, where I'm kind of pointing right now with my hand. When we did the restoration of the cathedral, one of the things that we decided on doing was to take them down, have them cleaned and protected, and then put them up in a different part of the church. So right behind the altar is the area called the ambulatory, and it's a curved section where people can walk behind the altar. And above the people's walking space are the 4 galeros, so that's what they're called. It's the red cardinal's hat called the galero with tassels on it. And the process was that when a man was appointed a cardinal, he would be given this galero, and as a symbol of his office, I think in medieval times the cardinals might have worn them, but in modern times at least Americans didn't wear them. But around the late 1960s, there was a change in the vesture of higher level clerics, so cardinals and bishops and archbishops. There were a number of changes, and one of the changes was that this galero would not be given anymore, that a red biretta, the little, much smaller hat that could be worn, and it is often worn by Cardinal Dolan. If he visits a parish very often, he'll have his biretta on, which is red, symbolizing the fact that he's a cardinal. Now, there are four galeros in the ambulatory, and they belong to Cardinal Farley, Cardinal Hayes, Cardinal Spellman, and Cardinal McCloskey. McCloskey was the first one. So they were given by the Holy Father to those four archbishops of New York. In the late 60s, they stopped giving it, so Cardinal Cook, Cardinal O'Connor, Cardinal Egan, and Cardinal Dolan didn't get one of those galeros. And the tradition was that when the cardinal died, his galero would be put up in the top of his cathedral church. So if you come to visit St. Patrick's and you go to the ambulatory, you'll see the four galeros that belong to the first four cardinals here in the Archdiocese. There'll never be any more. It'll only be four because we only had, because they stopped giving them. So, but they are still here. People thought that when we restored the place and they didn't see them up there, they thought that they were gone, but they're not. We took them down, and the dirt on them was like 2-3 inches thick. They were they had been up so high for so long, and the New York City air for so many years was not very conducive to keeping things clean. So we had them taken away into a conservator, and they were cleaned and they were preserved so that they'll last for a long, long time to come. So those are the two questions that were given to me this week. What is a rector? What about the cardinal's hats? And there's the answer. When I first came here, I was standing outside the sanctuary, and a lady came up and pointed to the galeros up on the top and said, are those Chinese wind chimes? And I kind of looked at her, and then when I looked at it, you could see that it, from a distance, it might look like wind chimes, but I said, no, that's the cardinal's hats. And I explained the whole thing to the lady at that time. So please keep your cards and letters coming. Keep your questions coming. You can certainly dial me on or send me questions online. My email address is rtrb, as in boy, MAN, @AOL.com. So RTR, my name is Robert T. Ritchie, RTR, B for Bob, MAN, RTRBman @AOL.com, and you can send me any questions that you have, or to my secretary. Thank you very much. May God bless you all, and I ask God's blessing, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, descend upon all of you who are here and those who are watching online at stpatrickscathedral.org/live. God bless you all. See you next week, or I'll see you tomorrow for the live stream Mass. Thanks.